good chance to see youngster Becca Mann here, Steve, and another couple youngsters too, a 13-year-old in this event.
3 different teenagers in this 8-swimmer field for the 400 free. Kylie Stewart, one of those, the 16-year-old from Atlanta in lane number 1. Barbara Jardin in lane number 2. Out of Montreal, just 21 years of age, was second in the 400 free in Austin. Samantha Sheverton in lane 3. A 24-year-old who swims at Ohio State, is from Canada. Becca Mann, top qualifier in lane number 4. 15-year-old, already second place in the 200 fly earlier tonight here in Orlando. Ashley Steenborden in lane number 5, while Alexandra Komornicki will be alongside her in lane 6. She was 5th in this event, going back to Austin in January. Andreina Pinto is the Venezuelan in lane number 7, 15th in the Olympic Games last year in London. And Courtney Harnish, also swimming out of the YMCA in York, Pennsylvania, 13 years of old. She is in lane 8, one of those 3 teenagers along with Mann.
Yeah, Becca was just taking that fin off, Steve, at the end of the race. This is a regular, kind of a new technology that has come into swimming. You see that fin on the back of the blocks there. What the swimmer does is when they put 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, that gets a little bit better of a push off that back foot. Obviously, Becca doesn't like that, and so she took it off. You don't have to have it. It's easy to get on and off. She did it herself. See that back foot? It keeps flat on the block there instead of having a push off the fin. They call it the fin.
Again, Becca Mann, lane number 4, top qualifier at the Olympic trials a year ago. She was 6th in this event.
Going to be very tough to beat her here. She comes in 5 seconds ahead of everybody else in the field. Had a good solid 200 fly earlier. Finishing second to Lacroix, and now this is arguably her best event. 800 freestyle, also a very tough event for her. But you're looking at, if you looked at the future of backstroke for men, then you might be looking at a little bit of a future for women in the distance freestyle. Now, I'm sure Katie Ledecky's going to have a lot to say with that, and of course Kate Ziegler, and even Katie Hoff, who is not retired from the sport. But boy, this is one girl that you want to keep your eyes on here over the next 3 years. And she's so incredibly versatile. I mean, you mentioned 4 events, top 10 at the trials last year.
Consistent, versatile.
Yeah, exactly.
And still only 15, won't turn 16 until Thanksgiving weekend of this year. So a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, not only that, but a lot of time to improve her stroke. I think her stroke is one that, not necessarily sloppy, but it works for her, but she doesn't look as smooth as a Missy Franklin. You see her right there? Notice how she just kind of lopes those arms above the water, it swings her arms, and then kind of lands flat out in front. You know, if you think about the old Janet Evans, a lot of people criticize her recovery when she had that straight arm recovery, but she was tremendous underneath the water, the pull, and that's where Becca Mann is so good. She may not look very pretty above the water, but boy, she gets the job done underneath the water, and that's what really, truly counts here.
And coming up on the midway point, she's getting the challenge from lane 6, and Alexandra Komornicki, the 23-year-old from Canada, who is currently in 2nd place. Mann still the slight lead as they make the turn at 200. You
know, my old coach Richard Quick used to talk about 3 important words that I talk about a lot on these broadcasts, and that's posture, line, and balance. And you may not think of that when you look at Becca Mann, but she really does. She's got great posture for a young 15-year-old, which is going to get better. Right there. She's got great line. She keeps that line nice and long. That spine is lengthened out in front. And then she's got great balance. She breathes to both sides. You see how she alternate breathes, and that balances out that stroke. And she's getting a little bit of a race here, so she's a great racer. She's got that intangible, Steve. That's so hard to really master, the intangible of being a great racer.
One of those things that's hard to coach. You can talk about technique and everything strategically you may need to do in the pool, but when it comes to hunger, motivation, and the ability to race the other swimmers, sometimes that just has to come from within.
Yeah, and Komornicki has given her a race, which is so good for Becca Mann. Regardless how this shakes out, you see Komornicki, she knows how to race. She's been there. She's been to 2 Olympic Games. And that's where experience comes into play here, because she can see Becca Mann. Now, she's going to be able to breathe to her right coming home. She breathes mainly to her left. I'm talking about Komarnicki. And she breathes every once in a while to the right, but she knows how she breathes to the left. Breathes to the left, and then she'll throw in a right side breathing every once in a while, right there, just to be able to keep an eye on Becca Mann, and Becca Mann alternate breathes all the way. So they'll both be able to see each other here this last 50.
Well, it's been almost status quo the last several lengths, with Komarnicki just a few strokes behind Becca Mann, who has essentially led from the start. And now here they come in the final 50. Mann still holding the lead, but Komarnicki trying to pull even and maybe go by her here.
Boy, this is so good for a young Becca Mann to be pushed by an Olympian, by somebody like Komarnicki, by Lacroix. This is what she needs to grow in this sport.
Well, but Alexandra Komarnicki saves something for a late surge here at the end. Can Becca Mann hold on and almost make it a wire-to-wire win in the women's 400 free? It looks like it is going to be Becca Mann who will take it at the wall to get the win, with Komarnicki second.
All the great ones have it. They really do. Some take time to get it, but all the great ones have it. That intangible you said, that knack for racing, of putting your head down and not being afraid to get into the wall. Don't slip, maintain composure, and get into the wall. And Becca Mann did just that the last 10 or 15 meters. Boy, that's a tremendous swim for a youngster. Remember, only 15. There she is on the start. Not as critical here in the 400. And that may be why she doesn't like that back fin. You know, the most important thing is after you enter the water here on the 400. Unlike the 50, where the start is everything, the 400, it's minor. And then here's the form. Here's what I talk about. See how she kind of lays out, especially on her right arm. See how that right arm, Steve, kind of flattens out in front? But what she does is she kicks that elbow back up high when she makes the pull. That's what counts. Not so much out front what she does above the water. Going into the last turn, she's good on her turn, solid, but she's a racer. She knows how to get into the wall, and she did this the last 10 or 15 meters, putting away Komarnicki at the end. Really good swim by the youngster Becca Mann.
And our winner, Becca Mann, now joining us from the pool deck. Becca, congratulations. A lot of swimming for you tonight. You were already second in the 200 fly. You add the 400 free here. How did you feel coming down the stretch?
Good. I felt really good the whole time. I had a really good 200 fly, and I was really happy with that, and I'm also really happy with my 200 free.
What do you think about in the 400? And two questions, specifically in that race, and then in general, what do you like to try to think about, Becca? Because you did so well in maintaining your composure, especially in that race.
Well, actually, a lot of thoughts go through my head as I swim, and some of it has nothing to do with swimming at all. So really, I just kind of let my thoughts wander around, and I kind of am subconsciously in the pool, but my conscious kind of isn't.
Right, right. But and then in that race, did you know that Komarnicki was there, and what were you thinking about the last 10 or 15 meters?
Oh, I saw her there the whole time, and it was really fun racing her. But I knew that I could pull it out on the last 50.
Well, great job.
Thank you.
Becca, good swim. Thank you.
Thank you.
15-year-old Becca Mann. A second and a first so far tonight here in Orlando, as she takes the win in the women's 400-meter freestyle here at the YMCA.